Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. All right, look at there. I'd say that watermelon was ripe. We go down here and see how much is left of the one. Yeah, I threw another. I've thrown two out there, and the chickens have just demolished it. But this is the second one. It's only been in there a couple of minutes, so long enough for me to go in the house and get my phone. How about that? Yeah, I'd say it's ripe, but it didn't have the big sunspot on it like it's, Google said you're supposed to. But I went ahead and picked the smallest one because I was cutting the vines that are running everywhere and pulling them out. And I was going to leave the vine with the melons on there, and ended up cutting a couple of them that further down the line, it weaved around and around and came back to that watermelon. So I went ahead and picked them all. And I thought, well, they're not ripe, so I'm going to cut it in half, give it to chickens. The first one looked like it was ripe, even though it was small. And then I picked the second and third, and of course it looks ripe. So the largest one, the one that I know was, started growing before these two, I'm going to put it in the fridge. And cut it probably tomorrow evening and see what it looks like, what it tastes like. But anywho, all right, I cranked the motorized bicycle, and rode it down about 1.5 miles and back. Haven't run it in a while. Finally got all my cages picked up, the tomato cages, and put up, and I dumped all the grow bags into the raised beds. That's why I started cleaning the vines out. See, I threw them all out there. Well, I didn't realize those melons were going to be ripe. I was worried with the rain we got 3 or 4 days, 5 days ago, whatever it was. They'd split open anyway, but they didn't. But you see, the vines look like they're dying. Well, it was the main vine going into the melon was all brown and stuff, so I went ahead and picked it. But this was the largest of the three, and it started growing first. So I'm gonna put it in the fridge and cut it tomorrow evening, and hopefully it'll be ripe. The other three were, so anyway, I cut all the vines over there and ended up cutting this vine back here that was all in this bed and run down through these pots into that bed. And it ended up circling back to where that watermelon was. So I had cut the vine inadvertently, so I went ahead and cut the last one and just pulled them all. So I've been pulling out my little stakes where I marked what was what and putting them in my pocket. I see one on the ground over there. There's still more watermelon blooms, but it's time to get this thing closed up. So I have not, I don't know what that is. It's a mushroom growing through the grass. I have not done anything. I need to pull that grass out right there. And there's some around that bed over yonder. These two are the worst. I guess they get the morning sun and all. But the rose bush, where it was all brown last week, is about half green again. So it's coming back, which is normal. Does that every year. So I wasn't trying to do a whole lot of work today. We did have range training and qualifications this morning, so I got up early on my day off and decided, get that done. And then I took a little break, and my son-in-law's here back there hunting. Hopefully he'll see something. There've been a lot of them on camera back there in the afternoon, and every time I go back there, and some of the other guys went back there to do some training in the afternoons, they're seeing deer. So hopefully we didn't do so much shooting that we ran them all off. But I've been trying to pick the weeds out of the beds too, the few that have decided to grow. And I even pulled that dill plant and threw it in the chicken pen. That's another little one. But the chickens don't like the dill. They haven't messed with it at all. So anyway, I've still got to get the chicken pens cleaned out again. And the sooner I do that, the sooner I can dump those into the raised beds and add more nitrogen, compost and stuff in there for next year, because it needs to set for several months before you use it. But at least now I've got everything out of the bed so I can work a little bit along. Anywho, I need to change out my thin blue line flag back there. It's starting to be a little ragged. I don't know if I have another one. I know I have another red, white, and blue. But anywho, the wind has picked up, and I actually thought about burning this pile earlier because they're forecasting some rain in a couple of days. But we haven't had any recently, so it's dry. And I don't want to take a chance, but I need to burn that pile. So we'll just have to see. All right, about 4 o'clock this morning I woke up, and camera on the side I park on gave me a notification something was out there, and I looked, and there's a cat sitting there and set the motion alarm off. So I don't know where they're coming from. Probably from my sister's, but could be some that the people left down at the other end when they moved away a few months ago, because there was a lot of kittens that were wild you couldn't touch. So I'm probably gonna set that trap up pretty soon if the cats keep coming around. I do not want them getting into my chicken pen. Feral cat will kill a chicken. So just don't need to have those problems right now. But anywho, thought I'd do a video and show y'all those watermelons. I mean, I was amazed that they were ripe. I did not expect that. When I pick them and I think they're ripe, they're not. And I pick these thinking they're not ripe, and they are. So when it comes to watermelons, I'm a friggin' idiot. Tony, I ain't the one to ask, I can tell you that. Anywho, look at there. The deal's still laying on the ground. They're not even touching it. So I appreciate you guys watching my videos. I know this one's a little short one, but just wanted to get those watermelons on camera. You see, they're picking that rind clean. That's Junior eating on it. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, see, they're picking that rind clean. There won't be anything left there but the dark green when they're done with it. It'll be just a paper thin layer of the green tomorrow when I come out here. But anywho, I appreciate y'all. Remember what I always tell you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared.